think we're live, yes?
And we're live, cool.
Wow, cute. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and for taking the time out of your Thursday evening. I think that's what day it is, right? Thursday evening to come and spend time with us for TWOR, for this Freeze to Flow movement. And those of you on live stream, thank you for joining us. I hope you're enjoying your evening at home as well with us. I'm Minky. I am the founder of Han Training and of Project Liftyboi. We've also got Albe here, who is a excellent art therapist from CTC, Chicago Therapy Collective, who's here to share her practice with us with expressive movement and expressive art within movement. So I just wanted to, introduce her, introduce the space to you all, and say hello. And I think Albe, you want to take it away for me?
Cool, yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna be here.
And I'm gonna check the door for any other folks who may want to join us. Yep.
Hey y'all. Is there someone there? Maybe. Yay. Hi, welcome. Hello folks who are watching on the video.
Hi.
My name is
Hey,
Albe,
welcome.
she,
So
her
sorry.
pronouns.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Come on.
I'm curious to just, hi, welcome. We're just getting started, so get comfortable and join the group. I want to start by maybe just getting an introduction of people. You just want to share your names, and perhaps another interesting thing like favorite dessert. So Albe, she, her pronouns. My favorite dessert is ice cream, and just about every flavor. And we can go, yeah, it's you.
Danielle, she, her pronouns. My favorite dessert is Ben and Jerry's fish food, the dairy-free ones. Very specific, but also ice cream.
Yeah, it's delicious.
I'm Gio, they, them, also have lemon bars.
Tasty, citrus. Ooh, tasty, classic brownie. And hello, you just got here. We're just saying our names, pronoun, and favorite dessert.
My name is Louis Francesco. My pronouns are alleviate. My favorite dessert is anything chocolate.
Ooh, chocolate. Groovy. What's your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert? Right now, I would say tiramisu.
Ooh, yummy. Groovy. So now we're a little more acquainted with each other. Minky was sharing, right, I am an art therapist. That's what I do as like my main practice now, but I've done lots of other things. Some of those other things include dance, being a dance teacher. I've also been in the circus before, so I've like traveled the country doing all kinds of funky stuff with fun people. And so I incorporate a lot of movement and what I learned as a performer, a performing artist, into expression for my work with clients and with community. And one of those activities that's really important that I do is essentially what I call the 4 cardinal emotions. So folks, if you've ever read a map, you're probably familiar with the compass. It's got our 4 directions, or cardinal directions, north, east, south, west. Never eat soggy waffles. And sometimes I'll just, for exploring how our body holds emotions, change up what those emotions might be. And this is an important thing that I like to do with individuals and also in groups. So we're in a group, and an important part of doing this in a group is that we get to see how other people's emotional expression plays out within their bodies. So I want to invite folks to get into some kind of position. You can stay seated, you can stand, but I invite you to find a place where you can see yourself in the mirror. So if you're somewhere where you can't see yourself, you don't have to, but this activity takes on a different life when you can see yourself. And today, the 4 cardinal emotions that we're going to work with are anger, sadness, fear, and joy. And a mnemonic to help you remember is as if joy, so anger, sadness, fear, joy. So I invite you to, however you're positioned, seated, standing, in a mirror, I want you with your whole body to demonstrate anger. just what does anger look like in your body? Staring at yourself. And then shake that out. I'm just gonna shake out that emotion. We're just exploring emotions here. The next one, sadness. How does sadness sit in your body? Sadness. Get into that emotion. Okay, and you can breathe in and then shake that one out. The next one is as if joy, fear. How does fear look in your body? What's fear look like for you? You're feeling scared, terrified, surprised. And take a big breath in. Shake that one out. You can come closer if you want to use a mirror. Yeah, no, okay, no problem. Yeah, okay. And the last one here, as if joy, joy. How does joy look like in your body? Joy, my joints are popping. Like, yes, joy. And shake that out. Shake that out, shake that out, shake that out. Now, this is a compass that we're exploring here, and one useful thing about a compass is that it gives us direction. So I invite folks now, our same directions, we're going to do them, but we're going to all turn this way. And this way you can see someone who's in front of you and a person who's behind you can see what these emotions look like in your body. So you're also showcasing, this is what it looks like for me. Can a person interpret it in this way? How can I know what this new person I'm introduced to, what these emotions look like for them? So first emotion, anger. Be sure to also look at the person next to you or in front of you. What does anger look like in their body? How are they moving through that emotion? And go ahead and take a breath in and shake that one out. Okay. Next emotion, sadness. How do you demonstrate sadness? Check the person near you. What does sadness look like in their body? Is it similar to yours? Is their expression similar? Different? What do you notice? And take a breath and shake that one out. Fear. What does fear look like? Fear. Check the person around you. Are there similarities? Are there differences? And breath in and shake that one out. And last one here, joy. What's joy look like for you? What does it look like for the people around you? Is it similar? Is it different? Is it a static motion? Is it a movement? Is it a pose? Joy. And shake that one out. And now we're going to go in the opposite direction, a little 180 degrees. We're going to do the same thing. This time we're going to do it a little more quickly. So, angry. Angry. Okay, and shake it out. Big breath. Sadness. Ooh, sadness. And breath in, shake it out. Fear. I'm hiding, fearful. And breath in, shake that out. And last one, joy. And I'm feeling joyful. Okay. And shake that out. Breath in. Shake that one out. So that's our warm-up. We're just exploring, getting used to our sense of space and the space of those around us and how their bodies might inhabit similarly and different than our own. That's our warm up. You want to take the next part?
Yeah. So something that, thank you for walking us through those 4 cardinal emotions. Something that I find really helpful in particular. Is that correct? Okay. I'm unmuted. So something that I find particularly useful is to ground myself from the very beginning all the way to, and starting to like feel out parts of my body in connection with other parts. Yeah, and like walking myself through each little bit at a time. So something I'm gonna have us walk through as well is not just feeling the feelings, but then trying to connect those with our actual body neurons and sensations. So I'm gonna have y'all pick any sort of like static position that you'd like. For me, I typically like doing just a standing, but if that's not comfortable for you, whatever, seated, laying down, whatever works. So whatever point that you have touching the ground, it looks like for most folks it's gonna be the feetsies. I want to see if we can shift kind of our weight throughout the feet and feel the little micro adjustments that start happening throughout. Just paying attention to them, not necessarily noticing anything in particular. From here, I'm gonna see if we can start looking at kind of body mechanics as well and heel toe our feetsies to like under our hip joints, if we can. And you can try to visually look at that or try to just imagine like what that feels like, to have your ankles stacked underneath your hip joints. Feeling that out. Keeping softness in the knees too, because if you have a tendency to like hyperextend, we don't want to feel too stiff, kind of finding a little bit of looseness in everything that we're doing. Yeah, feeling that kind of translate all the way up from the feetsies to the knees to the hips. And think about where the hips are over the ankles. And then start breathing into the core, like noticing the breath as your body accepts it and then lets it go. Filling in not just your diaphragm, but like the whole core. Yeah, imagine it filling all the little spaces. And sense what that feels like, yeah, as the air fills your body. Feel out where your ribs are, over the hips as well. We're just kind of slowly traveling up a little bit. And you can stop and go back to other spots as well as you need. But ribs kind of slowly stacking over the hips. Shoulders relaxing down. Head and neck gently kind of realigning, stacking atop the spine. And then feeling how all of that stacking translates down into the feet as well. Like, is there additional micro movements? Are you finding a moment of stillness? And take a big breath here. And then imagine the crown of your head reaching up away from the feetsies as well, even though your feet are rooted to the ground and like aware of the ground below you, you're still also aware of the space above you as well. And then big exhale, nice and slow. If you're feeling it, if you're feeling into it, we can do a little forward fold just to reset ourselves. Keeping our knees soft, ankles still stacked underneath our hip joints. We're gonna hinge from the hips, leading with our chest. And release at the bottom. I do find that this is really helpful for me, especially when I'm in a moment of freeze, which happens a lot, especially nowadays, with the world being what it is. If you want to take any little movements here, you can grab opposite elbows, give yourself a little dangle from the hips. Forward, backward, side to side. Still feeling out all of the little bits in the feetsies. If your hands are on the ground, you can feel that as well and try to get comfortable with that. Whenever you're feeling good, you can slowly roll up, stacking the joints. Knees over ankles, hips over knees, one vertebra at a time. Head and neck come up last. And like as we express through our bodies and our movement, I still want to be mindful of like keeping our, our joints, generally stacked and aligned, watching out for any tendency to hyperextend or anything like that. So just always come back to yourself as you see fit, as we explore. Yeah. Cool, thank you. Any other little movements that we'd like to take? Go ahead and take those. But then I think we're ready for our arts and expression.
Yes, groovy. Thank you, Minky.
Of course.
Okay, I'm going to move into the camera zone for folks who are watching here too. I like to ask a lot of questions. Right? I'm a therapist. Being nosy is helpful in that profession. So like show of hands or vocalization. Who's made art before?
Yeah.
Yeah, art making. Who's ever been in therapy before?
Yeah.
Totally. I see some hands over there too, for sure. So, who's ever heard of art therapy before? Heck yeah, groovy. I like to just know, like, what's people's experience? What are they working with? Some of the activities that I have designed as part of this 3-part series are inspired by my work as an art teacher with children. I used to work at a children's museum, so a lot of the things that I do are informed by safe and accessible materials. So all the things that we're seeing are non-toxic. If you have a desire to eat any of them, don't recommend, but you could. And also my work as like a trauma-informed CBT art therapy combo, which I practice now. So there's 3 parts to this art activity sequence that I have designed. So I have some here and some there. The materials are pretty much the same. Again, this is where the camera is, so if you don't want to be videotaped, you can use the materials that are there on that side. But there's 3 parts. The first part is called Scrawl Wall, and that's what these pieces of paper are in different stations around here. They're just stuck onto the wall, and inside the baskets here are different drawing materials, markers, crayons, pens, things that can mark pretty easily and not bleed through the wall. The second part is what I call smash and dash, and that is paper and bubble wrap, things to rip apart and squish and crush and just tear through. And then the third thing I call build and break, and that's these little tiny aluminum cups, and these are for stacking. The lovely thing about stacking is you can unstack in a way that you see fit. So if you like, you can slowly stack them back up, or what I just did, which is knock it all down. So it's up to you sort of what level of expression you feel like your body wants after going through this series of activities. So it's about listening to your body, what it wants to do. Maybe you have a drawing material. Maybe I'll do the same thing through the series together. Maybe you want to use your full range of motion to make some shapes, or maybe you want to focus in and do something really small and delicate. Maybe you want to try using your non-dominant hand. What sensation is different there when you're scribbling and drawing? When you're ripping and shredding, maybe you want to try doing it quickly. Or maybe you want to be really precise about how you rip or crush something. Maybe you want to just focus on popping some bubbles nice and slowly. Or maybe you want to really go hard with that. And again, with cups, maybe you want to try to stack as high as you can without it falling, or maybe you want to try to build wide. So it's up to you, the way that you want to process the movements and the materials. But we'll do them together. So I just invite you to be mindful of the space around you, share materials, and be delicate with each other as we go through. So I'm sort of going to time us through these different stations and different art materials. So we'll start with scroll wall. Find some drawing materials, select a place where you want to work. We have a paper station here, there's a paper station there, and there's a paper station here. And if we need to, I can move some more paper elsewhere too. These are big sticky notes. So go for it, pick some colors, markers, pens. We're going to do this for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to move one of these over here. So try some different things. Maybe you start one way, being really delicate, maybe with your dominant hand. If you want to challenge yourself, explore how your body is taking in and releasing motion and color and shape. Switch to your non-dominant hand. Maybe you really don't like a certain color, or maybe you have a favorite color. What might it be like to play with those things? Maybe you want to draw something recognizable, something that people can see what that is, like a dog or a cat. Or maybe you just want to make shapes. What might it be like to go over something that you drew? Maybe you want to try writing letters or numbers. How does it feel to write your name or someone else's name? Or an important date?
I can move this too, Louis. Can I draw in your area here too?
Oh, we're snuffing. This was the best one though, because it had a sparkly cap.
Yeah, exactly. The sparkle ones. I like this leaf pattern. I'm doing some leaves here too. Check out what other people are drawing. Glance over. Maybe what they're doing might inspire some of your shapes or images. How are they similar or different? we'll keep drawing for 3 more minutes. I invite you now, if you've been focused on just one area of the paper, try to fill the whole area. It can be one big squiggle, or it can be a dotted line or a dashed line. Try to take up as much space as you can. We'll do 1 more minute of our drawing. Okay, I invite you to cap your markers, top those paint pens, return those materials to their organized space. And now, check out other people's work. Just take a minute to see what other people were drawing. Are there any similar themes, shapes, anything that, you think is cool or strange?
I love your socks.
How did other people use the space and the colors? Okay. Now, just like we did before, I invite you to take a big breath and shake it out. We're going to shake out each little step of the way, and we warmed up with that. So the next part is our smash and dash. So I've got different pieces of paper, bubble wrap, things that I invite you to just rip, shred, crush, or delicately tear, whatever your body's feeling like it wants. And make a fun mess, is what I like to say. So we've got some there. I'm going to move these over here, some of these over here, because I think more folks are not in the camera vibes.
So real.
And that's real. Some of these are like, I love recycling. Some of these are old things that were printed that are no longer useful or out of date. So go ahead and rip, pop, squish to your heart's content. And we'll do this for a little 5 to 10 minutes. A part of this challenge is also, ooh, how do I do this for this long? Maybe you want to fold and unfold, crush and crush again. Maybe you rip until you can get the smallest little piece that you possibly can. How many layers can you get through? Ooh, I heard the bubble wrap, yep. Oh, crush. Mm-hmm. also invite folks to please make a mess if you're worried about, like, oh no, I'm making a mess. The facilitators here are the cleaners. So we
Yeah.
invite you to make a mess if it feels like what your body needs. Sometimes when I work with clients, they're like, I'm afraid to make a mess. And I say, I'll clean it up. What do you notice about the sounds? Maybe there are certain smells. Crushing and ripping and folding is a multi-sensory experience. What are some of those other sensations? We'll smash for another couple of minutes. If there's a way you haven't tried yet, give yourself permission to do it.
Roll on it.
What's it like if you tear against the grain versus with the grain?
I also invite y'all to think about how you're holding yourselves while practicing this too. Like think of like or not necessarily overthink, but just kind of considering how you are holding yourself while you're expressing these feelings or like sensating, I guess, these things. How does your body feel, and how does it feel in relation to the world around you, to the materials that we're working with?
We'll do one more minute. Okay, we're gonna bring this one to a close with a big breath. Now I invite you to look over at the folks around you. What kind of mess did they make? How are they using this material? I saw some precise folding and then ripping. There was some crushing. There was some like quick popping and then some ripping. I see a lovely pile here, an explosion. We're all engaging with materials, the same materials, in different ways. Just like all of our experiences of ourselves, our gender, the world, might be dealing with the same materials, but we internalize and externalize in our own different ways. So I invite folks now, if you can, come to standing. Just just maneuver some stuff out the way. Don't need to clean it up. We'll do that. And give yourself a good shake. Because the next thing we're going to do is what I like to call sort of channel some of this outward. We're scrawling, we were ripping. Now we're going to bring it back into some stacking, some building. This usually requires a little more focus, unless you don't want to, it's okay too. But oftentimes, in order to build a structure, you need like a little more focus so it can stand. Just like Minky was inviting us to understand how our bodies stack and build, we're going to do that next with these little cups. I'm going to maneuver these ones over to this table over here. Or actually, maybe, can you help me carry this table over there? This way, we'll have plenty of room for folks to use these.
We're going to take the table?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That way there's room for everyone.
Yeah.
We're going to put this here, okay?
Yeah.
Great. So have at it. You can use the floor, you can use the table. There's plenty of cups. I recommend maybe taking a stack and finding a place that feels good for you to start creating a structure. We're going to do this for 5 to 10 minutes. What do you notice about your sense of attention or focus? Be aware of your posture, your eye movements. What other senses are activated here? How do you react if something falls out of place? Do you rebuild or change direction? Maybe you want to build tall, or maybe you want to build wide. Feel free to reload. We've got lots of these. We'll take 2 more minutes building. One more minute. Find a good stopping point if you haven't yet. And we'll pause now. I invite folks to look at other people's structures. What have they created? Is it similar or different to yours? Is it taller? Is it multiple structures? Does it branch into different shapes? Okay, now I invite you to return to your structure. And this is one of my favorite parts, is you get to decide how you want this structure to be done away with. Do you want to knock it over? Would you like to stack it gently back in place? We'll give a countdown. We'll go from 5 to 1, and then you can begin demolishing in a way that you see fit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you've made a lovely mess, just move it into one area. If you've stacked it delicately and lovingly, just put it on a table. Whatever your choice was, keep breathing. What did you notice about the demolition process following the building process? What sensations were activated? And we'll move on to the next thing here.
Lovely, lovely.
Thank you. Done with this table back out.
Yeah. Well, actually, Might be okay. I might just do a little,
Okay.
yeah. How are we all feeling after all of our physical artsy expression?
Feel
Pretty
happy
good?
making a mess.
Happy to make a mess. Excellent. So I wanted to kind of get back a little more like into the physical aspect too of our like expression and kind of what we were moving through with all of the materials that Albe walked us through as well. I am going to move this table actually just so that y'all have some room on this mat area.
I'll help you here.
Thank you. Oh. Just move it to the side, perhaps. Oh. It's all part of it.
Yeah, the sound.
So I am also going to kind of have us come back into our bodies a little bit now that we've kind of expressed a little more. We had that grounding moment earlier. But yes, take a spot on the mat wherever you would like. I'm gonna walk us through a few different movements that will help us also get into our range of motion and mobility while also feeling out kind of where things are in our bodies, yeah, within our own space and ourselves. So first thing I'm gonna have us do is actually get into a tabletop position if that's accessible to you. Tabletop generally looks like so. And I'll show you a few different modalities or options as well, if this is not within your practice at this moment. So things to think about while we're in this tabletop is to make sure that wrists, elbows, and shoulders are generally aligned. We're thinking about the stack that we were just making with our little cups, yes? We're aligning our joints without hyperextending. If you have a tendency to hyperextend, something I find helpful is to actively think about grabbing the ground a little bit. Like stay intentional a little bit with your grip. That'll help engage those elbows a touch without hyperextending. And then from here, just feeling out kind of where your weight lies in your hands and in your knees. You can kind of circle slowly around. I am gonna have us first kind of feel out things in our hip joints, just to see what that feels like. If it's within your practice, I'm gonna see if we can bring a knee up and out and just make a big circle with the knee out to the side. If being in tabletop is challenging for your wrists, which it totally is so real if it is, you can sit up and place the hand against the wall or a bench and do this way as well. Yeah. I know our wrists can be carrying a lot of things. What we're trying to do is controlled articular rotations through that hip joint. So we're just kind of feeling out our own kind of space, our own range of motion within ourselves. Kind of a weird sensation and kind of something just odd to think about, really, like the insides of yourself. But it can really be helpful in kind of letting you know where your limitations are or like where your range is in any given moment. So do a few of these circles on both sides and then also try to think about whether or not as you're moving through this hip rotation, if your back or your spine is also trying to move with you. And then feel out what it feels like to try to stabilize that while you're moving the leg, or what it feels like if it moves along with you. Sometimes it's a little, crunchy, and that's okay. Pretty normal, especially if we have, sitting sedentary jobs or work or general times throughout our day. Just a few more each leg, and then go ahead and come back to a seated position. How did that feel? Any feelings, thoughts, words that came up for you all while we did that?
I like the adjustment on the wall. I've never done it that way. And that was a different spinal activation that I appreciated. I was able to be more aware of that.
Yeah, definitely changing kind of where we are to at the angles of our bodies, and then the more we are aware of the stack of our joints and alignments, it can be translated from laying down to sitting up to standing and whatnot. Anybody else? Any thoughts, feelings, discomforts, things we didn't like?
The wrist part.
Say again?
The wrist part.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and so sometimes when that happens, I do like for folks to try to do it more upright as well. And so paying attention to that can be very helpful. Yeah, but definitely it does put a lot of pressure on the wrist.
Kind of was able to focus on other parts of my body more by doing that than being in tabletop and kind of focusing on how the pain areas of different things. So it's nice to be able to focus on the movement parts versus that's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah. And I do think that that's something that we can always try to modify or adjust and accommodate ourselves. If something is not working for us, there's another way. Doesn't mean you have to keep pushing through that spot either. Yeah, so we just went through our hip cars. Let's actually get a little bit into our shoulders as well, because I do think that that can be really helpful. I'm going to actually have us laying back if that's something that we are comfortable with. And take up as much room as you need, wherever you'd like. If we need to grab some more mats, by all means. Yeah. Excellent. And I'm actually going to have y'all scooch a little bit down so you have a little room overhead as well. Yeah, for those of you who have benches behind your heads. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. If we need any blocks or anything underneath our heads or our knees for our low back, we can also grab that. Otherwise, I am going to have y'all go ahead and bend your knees and have the feetsies on the ground. And then try to keep your feet about hip width distance, just a little bit neutral. Yeah. From here, let's gently think about tilting our head a little, just so we can get the back of our neck nice and long against the ground. And I want us to think about expanding through our core while still drawing our low ribs down a little bit, grounding them towards the ground. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yes. No, totally okay. Yeah, I'm going to lay down here. I'm trying to keep my low ribs down, and I'm breathing really big into my whole core. From here, what I'm going to have us do is with our arms by our side, thumbs facing up, I'm going to have y'all gently lift the arms, and without letting or trying to avoid the low ribs trying to pop up off of the ground, try to gently let your arms touch the ground beside your head. And then back up and over. While you're moving through this, I want us to think about the back kind of like gently embracing into the ground, low ribs staying kind of grounded. Watch out for any pop-in of the chest. Don't worry if the arms won't touch all the way down by the ears. I just want you to kind of feel the stabilization of your spine, of your core, while you're moving your arms through this. So we're trying to avoid the tendency to kind of like compensate with our spine to get to a certain range, and more so feel this the stability and like grounding through that first. You can move as slowly or as probably not too fast, but as with your breath as you would like. Yeah, and try doing it one arm at a time. See how one side might be different than the other as well. It's a great call, Danielle. And then see how it changes where you put your feetsies. Like if you set your feet really close together, does that kind of change the balance as you're laying there? Or if you widen your stance, do you feel like you have more surface area? Or does that feel more vulnerable and weird? Still thinking about breathing deep into the diaphragm. I like to imagine like filling my armpits with some of my breath as well. So I'm like creating space for my lungs, not just through the front, but also through the back side of my body. Breathing, very important, very helpful for regulating. Just a few more, and then I'll invite y'all to just kind of gently hang there for a moment. Beautiful. When you're feeling good with this, go ahead and bring your knees up or your thighs up towards your chest if you want to give yourself a big little squeezy. And then release all of that out. You can do that as well. If it's uncomfortable to lay out like a starfish, you can find whatever comfortable laying position that works for you, whether that's on your side. Find something that feels supported and grounding for you. Once you find that, let's take 5 deep breaths at your own pace. I like to think of inhaling maybe 2 to 3 seconds, but then exhale at about a 4 to 6 second count. Yeah, just to help us regulate. Few more breaths. When you're feeling ready, I'll have y'all slowly finding yourself back up into a seated position, wherever that is, whatever feels most comfortable. Cross-legged, on your knees, legs out, straddle, whatever feels right. And then let's go around and take one, find a word that feels like, that felt grounding to you, or something about the experience that felt grounding, or maybe not grounding.
I was thinking about everyone's desserts.
Mmm.
Trying to remember who was who. Dessert.
Focusing on the stack and not letting my shoulders pop out at the end there, so it felt really nice to like be able to go through the full motion without it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I really appreciate the cue with the back and the shoulder movement, where it was sort of like feeling what it feels like to rotate and let it do what it wants to do, and then feeling like feel what it feels like to kind of not let it do that.
Yeah, to stabilize it.
Yeah, every time you do that difference.
Amazing.
I like the one that you the arm.
Yeah.
Like I got TWOR.
Yeah. It's like a really restorative, but also still like helps you kind of connect with the difference between our shoulder blade muscles and also like our spine. Yeah. Super helpful.
It reminded me of doing a box squat, but the same thing, because I was in the same.
Oh.
So like, you know.
Yeah.
But I almost like turn my head because that's what you do. I'm like, no.
You're like ready to swim.
Yeah.
Swim away.
I would have to do that practice.
Did you like alignment and like trying to make sure the spine is in the right position as we're going through the movements?
Yeah, it can be really helpful to like think about. I mean, I think we lose sight of our bodies a lot throughout all of this that we're navigating. So it is so helpful, I think, to kind of come back into yourself and kind of feel the stacking from the ground up. Especially with these practices as well, when you can externalize and visually see, or like, tactically, I guess, like maneuver those things and then kind of try to translate that within yourself. But yeah, thank you all so much for moving through that practice with me. If we would like to do another forward fold, I would be happy to walk y'all through some of that before we have any closing thoughts or questions. Before a forward fold, something I like to think about actually real quick before we do that, something fun that I like to have some of my members here do is the big toe, little toe raises, because we do tend to lose a lot of connection with our feet throughout our lives. Yeah. So imagine, if you will, like you're spreading your toes really wide and then grabbing the ground with your feet, like you're Spider-Man, but with your feet. And then from here, I'm gonna challenge y'all to, without looking, grabbing the little toes to the ground, try lifting just your big toes 10 times. It's gonna be really weird and might not happen. That's okay. I just want you to start connecting and like building what it might feel like to lift those toes. And then once you finish the big toes, then we'll try grabbing the big toes down and lifting just the little toes. You might find your fingers wanting to do it too. That happens a lot. And then once you finish that, you know, give yourself another little grab, squeeze onto the ground just to see what that felt like. Kind of weird, yeah. Something that I find that very helpful for is if you have a tendency to hyperextend at the knees, yeah, or you like lose kind of connection all the way down into the feet, or it helps you kind of engage the knee joint without necessarily actively bending into it. So that can be really helpful for aligning the hips. But I always think it's fun to try out because it's so hard to do. But also very, like as you practice it too, you start building those neural pathways to your feetsies and like all of those sensations. So it can be really helpful just to kind of like when I'm overwhelmed, I'll just think about where my feet are and kind of what they're doing and how connected I can be to the ground. So just some easy little tips and tricks that we can throw in there. But with that in mind, let's do our little forward fold. So we've got our feetsies grounded, knees are stacked over the ankles, hips over the knees, shoulders down and back, head and neck over the shoulders. And then from here, we're going to hinge at the hips, keep the knees soft, and fold. You can grab opposite elbows as needed, and then give yourself a little dangle. For those of you who may or may not like the forward fold, or if you feel that the forward fold without any support is uncomfortable, you can always use a table or a wall to fold over as well to reduce the amount of strain on the back or the hamstrings. Yeah. While you're in this fold too, take a little gander at your knees and see if they're wanting to kind of rotate inward or outward. You can also kind of heel toe the feetsies so they're a little more under hip width distance. See how that changes whether or not the pressure in the feet go on the inside or the outside. Whatever little movements that you'd like to take here, by all means, go for it. But whenever you're feeling ready, we're going to slowly roll on up, but keep those knees engaged without overbending or hyperextending. And then you'll roll up nice and slow, stacking those joints. Knees stay over the ankles, hips meet over the knees. One vertebrae at a time, head and neck come up last. At the top here, if it's within you, we can extend the arms, head, neck, and just the upper back. Try not to like overarch. Think just the chest through the shoulders. Exhale. And then bring the arms back down to center. Wow. Thank you all so much. Yeah. Take a moment, you know, feel out all the feelings. If you want to roll out a little bit on the ground or look at all of your things, by all means, do so. Albe, did you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, I want to just say
reflections.
Some closing things. Thank you for combining these tactile sensations with like the process and physiology of our bodies. This was our intention in combining our expertise for this particular workshop. And I just want to see if I remember everyone's desserts. Tiramisu.
Yeah.
Dairy-free fish food. Lemon bar. Chocolate. Brownie. And I didn't ask our camera person. Cookie.
Hey.
Groovy. Okay, great. I also want to invite folks to the Economic Justice Expo that Chicago Therapy Collective is hosting tomorrow. We have a professional portrait photo shoot in the afternoon, job readiness training for trans women of color, and an employer training if you happen to be an employer or work for an employer who might want to have more inclusive hiring practices and policies in place, I can give you that information too. And thank you all for making a fun mess.
Yay. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you all for being here. And we do have other TWOR events coming up, so feel free to pop in for those. But otherwise, take care of yourselves, stay safe. And yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Bye, everyone watching.
Oh, yes. Goodbye. Love y'all.
Yay.
Mm.
All of my old joints popping the
I
whole
know,
time.
right? A hug, yeah.
Yes.
The crunching and the vegetables is bang.
Thank you so much. This was so
Which one?
lovely.